Hi guys, welcome back to the I'm Factor podcast. I'm your host, Gabriella, where I talk about career, lifestyle, self-care and wellness, and other major topics adults go through. The I'm Factor is all about understanding what you bring to the table and using that factor to help you live your best life. I bring impactful guests and experts on along the way to showcase the I'm Factor in action. I hope this episode motivates and inspires you in some way. Thanks for listening, and let's get into it. I am so excited for today's podcast episode. The guest I'm sitting down with is a dear friend of mine that I'm so fortunate to have met a little over a year ago. He is a fellow first-generation American who is a scientist by day, studying the Parkinson's gene, and a foodie by night who has disrupted the food, blog, and content creation world, specifically in Denver, Colorado. He has an interesting story and great insight around making your mark in the social media-focused society we live in. He is also a fellow Bravo-holic, and let me tell you, I cannot wait to dive in on all things reality TV. So without further ado, I would genuinely love to welcome my dear friend, David Ruin, to the I'm Factor podcast. Welcome, David.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be. I'm like, need an audience.
I know, right? We need
like I'm on Ellen.
We need one of those machines where it says audience clap.
Yes.
we get
the
that
non-existent audience.
Yes, trust me, there's an audience on the other side of this.
That's true. So clap, please, for me.
Yeah, clap in your cars, wherever you're listening to this. Yeah. But we're so excited to have you, and I can't believe we're doing this.
I'm incredibly excited to be here. Hi, Gabby.
Hello. And for the record, David flew all the way from Denver to shoot this episode. So
yeah,
huge kudos. I'm honored.
3:30 a.m.
Unreal. I'm honored that you took the flight and that you're just so excited to be on. And I know the audience is really excited to hear your story too.
I mean, it's easy to visit people at 3:30 a.m. when it's people like you and your husband, who we love so much. So
thank you. We love you so much. And that, let's give everyone just who's listening.
Oh yeah, that's true.
A little bit of just background as to how we met. How did this all go down? Because the story is, I think, really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think it'll also help people understand our dynamic throughout the rest of the conversation.
On the other side of the world.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. Okay. So from your perspective,
okay,
how did we meet?
So I met you on FaceTime for the very first time.
Yes.
Through your husband, who I got very close with. We ended up on a birthright trip together in Israel last summer, and I ended up going alone. And he ended up going alone because you've already done birthright. Yeah. My boyfriend wasn't able to make it. And we just kind of, ended up in the big group together, and we got to know each other. And at first I thought...
Yeah. David has a really bad first impression of Ryan.
I have a really bad impression.
Which I'll say is a typical impression sometimes people have. And granted, right, Ryan went... I mean, I guess he wasn't really alone. He was without me, but he was with my brother.
Exactly. He had his crew.
He was there with the squad.
I was like alone. I was, he basically rolled into the airport with these three other guys looking like a frat bro, which is crazy because that's the exact opposite of Ryan when you get to know him.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, this guy's going to be so annoying. He's like making jokes during like our little icebreaker games. I was like, I am not going to be liking this guy.
Yeah.
And then when I mentioned that I was here alone without my boyfriend, he sort of made like an affinity towards me and became so incredibly welcoming and making sure that I felt comfortable at every one of our sessions, that I like always had a friend, like just being incredibly loving and adoring. And I was like, wow, this guy is super nice. So we meet the husband. I find out that he has this wife, and he's like, and I'm, kikiing with him, but Ryan doesn't kiki. He doesn't really know the Bravo world. So he's like, you need to meet my wife. Let's FaceTime her right now. And I was like, great. We call you.
Yep.
And the minute I see you and I mention Bravo, you start to go off. I grab the phone from his hand. And I think we have like a 30-minute conversation in the hotel room in Tel Aviv.
Yep.
That I need to meet you.
It was so crazy. It's so crazy because from my perspective, he was texting me and like we were speaking the whole time when he got to the airport all the way to when you guys landed in Israel. And I was landing in Israel a couple days after you all. And I was going on my own trip with my grandmother to visit family with the intention that I would meet up with you guys at some point during your trip. And he was like, I don't think you understand. I literally found your new best friend. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, he's my best friend, but like he'll be your best friend. You guys like have so much in common. And I was like, what? He was like, he's seriously incredible, but he lives in Denver. And I was like, oh, because like
that's a gripe.
No, in the sense of like, it was crazy because a couple of weeks before I was like, Rye, like we are going to hopefully move to the city soon. And I don't really have that many friends in the suburb we were living in. So I was like, I really would love just to make new adult friendships that are close by. So that's why he was like, but he's in Denver because he's not in the New York area. But it was so fine. And
very close.
I think it was 2 days later, this FaceTime happened.
Yes.
You guys were all like pre-gaming for like a night out in Tel Aviv.
Yeah. You showed up 2 days later.
So the first FaceTime, I see you. Instant connection.
Yes.
Like instantaneous. And right away, like it's very rare, I think, in life to find people that you not just like get along with from the very first second, but like feel like you've been friends with for a while.
Yeah.
When you just met. Plus,
would you say,
was virtually.
This was virtually. But would you say that we had that because we also have this Russian-Jewish connection?
Yeah.
From our
That's
parents?
A good point. That's a good point. I definitely think
it feels
plays
familial,
into it.
Right?
Yeah.
It feels natural.
Yeah.
It feels like homey. It kind of feels like you are a friend that we grew up together, but I just now am connecting with you again.
Exactly. That's such a great way to put it. I never even really thought about it that way. But even in that first FaceTime, like we were like joking and saying like random Russian words or things. And like it just all worked. And just for everyone listening, this trip that my husband and my brother and a lot of people were on and David was on was a trip for those that are Russian as well as Jewish.
Yes.
So like this particular trip was
Russian, Ukrainian, Russian speaking from like parents who immigrated from the FSU. This was like a trip for
exactly. So like
children.
that whole dynamic of the trip was just insane and on another level because of that. So I definitely think that had a role in it. And then I think 2 days later is when I came and met you guys. It was Shabbat.
Yep. In Jerusalem.
Yes.
Because you walked into the cafeteria. I'll never forget that. Wait, you walked into the dining hall. I want to know your first impression of me. Well, I mean,
in person.
On FaceTime, you're this louder than life girly, which I'm like, great, this is my type of gal. Like, and you just have this vision of you of being like super, tall.
That's hilarious.
And just like this larger than life, voice. And then so we're waiting for Gabby to arrive. We're all having dinner. She shows up. She walks through the doors of like, it's not a cafeteria. It's like a dining hall, I guess, right?
Like a buffet.
Yeah. And then just like this short, sweet girl appears through these huge double doors. And Ryan's like, this is my wife, Gabby. And I was like, this is your wife, Gabby. And then instant connection. And that's what's crazy is that I think our first bond was over Bravo.
Yeah.
Which is insane. And, people love to trash on reality TV. And I agree with some of those trashing. I do agree. Like, it's a lot. It's annoying. But it's also a hobby, of a sort. And it connects people like crazy. And I'm grateful for it because we connected.
For sure. Thank you, Bravo Andy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Andy Cohen.
Bravo Andy for this connection in Israel. Another fellow Jew.
Exactly. Shout out. But yeah, it was really crazy how we met. And again, just like the circumstance that we met literally across the world.
Yeah.
We met through a trip that you and my husband were on. I was not even really a part of the trip.
Yeah.
And we just had this connection right away. And I have to shout it out because you and a lot of the other individuals on this trip are a big reason why I actually went ahead and finally launched this podcast, because I've had this idea and like more or less this concept, and I knew I wanted to do something like this for years. Literally the first wave of podcasts, like in a bajillion years ago, it feels like, I wanted to do this and I just never had the courage, imposter syndrome, everything. our listeners have heard
Imposter syndrome.
episode 1, season 1, you've heard this. But my husband did a really amazing thing. And before we left, we both took our trips to Israel as a very restorative trip for us. And we knew that we both wanted to reflect and like use this time and experience to really get clarity as to like what it is that we really want to be doing and where we want to take our lives. And a big thing was I said to Ryan, like, Ryan, I know I need to be held accountable. Like, I need that extra push to get me where I know I need to go right now. And he did that. Literally, I think 3 seconds after I sat down with you guys at that buffet, he's like, oh, do you know my wife, Gab, she's going to be launching a podcast this fall.
And I freaked.
And I freaked.
Yeah. Well, I freaked for like an amazing read. Like I was just so excited. And I remember kind of, I think like pouncing on you and being like, this is amazing. You need to do this. Yeah. I am already subscribed. Like the podcast hasn't even launched. I'm already subscribed. I'm already there. This is awesome. And
it was just like, I thank my husband because that was the accountability I needed. Like the fact that he brought this up in a setting in front of people that I didn't really know yet. I'm someone still trying to figure out if it's a good or bad thing, that I do not want to let other people down. So I'm like, Ryan just said this to these people. Like, I have to do it. I have to. I can't let these people down. Like, now they know.
Yeah.
And I never had a date. I was like, oh, whenever, you know? But my husband was like, she's doing it this fall. And he looks at me. He's like, this is the accountability you wanted. That's what I could read from his face. And just the response I even got from everyone who was at that table that, again, I just met. You guys were all so excited. You loved the concept. You loved some of the other ideas that I have that isn't even out yet. Yep. It was such a defining moment for me. And I just have to thank you. And this is the perfect place to do it because I genuinely would not be here. We would not be here if you weren't a part of that and really supportive and really gave me that push. So I thank you. Well, truly.
I guess you're welcome. Actually, you're welcome.
Yeah,
audience. This is thanks to me. No, you are an incredible worker. Both you and your husband are incredible
Thank
workers.
You.
Like the hardest working people I've met.
Thank you.
And it's honestly that foreign mentality and that Soviet mentality in you. That's a huge dedication to your parents, both of your parents.
Absolutely.
Because that's where it comes from. And you know, we grew up in that world of that struggling immigrant, you know, coming to a new country, not knowing a single bit of English, having to learn a whole other language, like working these jobs that anything you get is going to be a job. And they've built, you know, a life for us. And that's something that we have in us.
It's really incredible. And I wanted to touch upon this at some point, and now it's just a great time. But we're both first-generation Americans. And I talk about that quite a bit, especially in season 1, because I really think it has really shaped a lot of us. Yeah. And I think anyone who's a first generation, I think we all take different bits and pieces, and it really impacts our lives in a positive way. And I'm curious to hear how being a first generation has impacted you in your life and how that impact has kind of got you to be the David you are now. So give us a little overview as to who is David, number one. And with that...
loaded question.
Yeah. And with that, like, how has being a first-generation American played a role into who you are?
Well, who is David? I think I'm still figuring that out. And I think you always are figuring that out, like who you are, and you're constantly evolving, constantly changing. But definitely on the first generation American, I think the biggest thing about us is that we basically became parents to our parents at a very young age because we learned English much faster and better than they did. And every single time a form or application, or we're in a store or a bank, like dealing with like mortgages, like we kind of were doing that at 8 years old and 9 years old, we became parents to our parents and translators. And I think that makes you mature so much.
Yeah.
And I'm honestly incredibly grateful for all the hurdles and hills that my parents had to overcome to get where they are, to get me to where I am. And providing a life for us that we would not have had back in Russia or the former Soviet Union. it's crazy that the work that they've done, because I can't imagine doing that.
Right?
Like, I cannot imagine picking everything up, selling everything in a rush, leaving to a foreign country where I don't know the language. Where do I even start? Like, it's insane. These hurdles that they went through are insane. So I think my hard work and my dedication to becoming better and achieving more comes from them. And I'm incredibly grateful, though at some points it can be a little exhausting.
Of course.
And
Of course.
you don't know how to learn how to take a break.
Yep.
That's something my boyfriend always. And so my boyfriend's background, he is from the Midwest, a nice Midwest businessman beau.
Love it. Love it.
Who's obsessed with your husband. And I think like
We're
that
obsessed with
friendship,
him.
I think that friendship, like, got stronger between them and stronger between us. So it's all
really
perfect.
crazy how like the four of us just like
Yeah.
literally clicked.
Yeah, partying in Tel Aviv because you guys stayed. So
Yes.
actually, my boyfriend came to visit me in Israel because we stayed there for another month,
Yep.
and then you guys stayed there for a week, I believe.
Correct.
And we would hang out and go out to dinners like every night, and it was so awesome. But sorry, back to so he always tells me, you need to like relax. You need to not stress so much, like calm down and everything's going to be great, and take a break. And I tell him, Jacob, I don't take breaks. I can't do that. I am incredibly focused, incredibly stressed out all the time and nervous and just want to be the best. And I like that. I definitely think that's a strength of mine, but also a weakness.
Yeah.
And I think that's my I'm factor, is pushing forward and just keep on going and always striving for more.
I love that. And as your friend, I totally echo that. I see that with you all the time. And I'm curious if you feel this way. I know I feel this way. I know a lot of other people that are also in our positions feel like this, but I feel like especially because we know what our parents or grandparents had to go through, like, look at the opportunity we now have. Like, how can we pass that up or not use the opportunity to its fullest?
Exactly.
And
When we know the language, when we know the country, like,
right? Like, it's like, because of them, we have this huge, amazing life and all these opportunities. How can we not seize them and constantly be going for more? Because they sacrificed all that for us to be in this position.
Which could be a burden too.
That is
I think
true.
it's
Yeah.
it's a heavy thing to have on your shoulders.
That's a really good perspective. Yeah. Yeah. But I know at least like from a lot of people that I speak to, my family, myself, that's where a lot of like that hard work comes from. And that's also where you teeter that line of doing too much and not taking the time to slow down because you always feel like you have this privilege at the expense of people that you loved, and they really had to go above and beyond for that. So very interesting.
Totally.
Well, tell us, David, just a little bit of background. We know you're from Denver. You were born and raised.
Mile High City.
Yes, in Colorado. Who are you? What do you do? Give us a little bit of an overview.
So, like you mentioned, I am in research currently, studying the Parkinson's gene. That's kind of like my 9-to-5 job, I would say.
So interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's tough, both obviously academically and, brain-wise.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But also just emotionally, it's grueling. It's hard to be around that environment, which is when being in this environment science world, that was my undergrad research. That was my undergrad major. And I needed something new. I needed something different, which is when I decided to help out my dad. My dad has been in the restaurant business all his life. He's gone through so many restaurants, opened, closed, sold, Russian restaurants.
We know how that goes here.
You know how that goes very well, yes. And I also had an interest in that. I grew up in the restaurant business. I would it was late. Sometimes I would be sleeping on the chairs when they had to close, or because Russian restaurants close at 4 a.m. So my mom had to be helping out as well, which is early. Yeah.
It's early.
Well, Denver closed at 4 a.m. You guys go throughout the next night. So my mom was helping out. I was doing my homework at those tables, and it was an interesting time. And I was very interested in the food aspect. My dad is a chef by trade. Okay. And my mom is a Russian Jewish mom. So everything was around the kitchen table. Everything, every conversation, every cry fest, every laugh fest was around the kitchen table. So growing up with food, as you can see, I love food. And I've always had an interest in the culinary aspect, especially for some reason in the marketing aspect. So that's when I tackled on a double major of communications. Mm-hmm. Decided to start my blog, Mile High Bites, Mile High City. So I took that name, and Bites comes from the fact that my family is a family of appetizers. We order appetizers. We order a bunch of entrees, appetizers, because we like to bite everything. We like to taste everything.
You get a little taste of all the
everything. Yeah. Like when we get the menu, it's kind of like, okay, let's get 3 things from this section, 3 things from that section, and on and on. And that's what I grew up with.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring, exactly. And that's where I came up with the name Mile High Bites. It's true to me. It has my familial background in it. And I started doing these photos just to kind of show my dad these ideas of these culinary dishes that Denver was just now getting. Because, let's put it this way. For you, this is something that I don't think you'll quite understand, because New York has always been the amazing food scene.
Yeah.
But let's not forget, Denver only started going on the rise in 2015, 2016, 2017, which is when I started my blog. So I thankfully caught that, that initial wave of the food industry in Denver popping off.
Yep.
And
so you started in 2017?
In 2017, yes. And started just showing pictures to my dad and seeing what other restaurants do. And then I started posting it on Instagram, gaining a following, and it was an awesome time. Wow.
And it's interesting because, and a big reason why I wanted to have you on, it's because I've seen I see how hard you work on it, and I see all of the insane opportunities you've been getting from it. And it's interesting because it's no secret. We live in a time that's very driven off of social media. Right?
Yes.
That is the core.
Likes, follows, comments, engagement. Yeah.
That's just the society we live in. And my personal view is you either enjoy it and you ride the wave, whether you are a consumer of it or a producer of it or both, or you go out about your day and you continue to live life the way you do. But at the end of the day, regardless of what you do, social media is going to touch it. It's inevitable. And
it's only going to be even more.
Exactly.
It's on the rise.
Exactly. And throw in AI, ChatGPT, forget about
AI.
it. Yeah. So it's interesting because so many people I know, including myself, we've all seen it in action. We've seen the pull and the reach that someone could get. You want that too, or you feel like you also have a voice and a story that you want to share. Or if you're someone like me who has been wanting to share for years and I just never had the courage or all the imposter syndrome or all these things that I finally start to share. Everyone is in a state right now where they also want to get into it, which is amazing. And I think there is room for everyone. And I've just seen what you've done with it. And it's so incredible how you've grown your platform to what it is with everything included. I just think it's so amazing. So I really want to dive deep into how you've done what you've done. And I think this is applicable, yes, for those that want to get into social media content creation, and whether it's in the food aspect or in the lifestyle aspect, it doesn't matter. I think you could learn a lot, but I also think you could learn a lot just from how you've been resourceful and how you've really put on a business hat and created something out of nothing from scratch on your own. And that is applicable to anything in life, not just social media.
Yeah.
So,
and I say one thing too, the imposter syndrome, that I think for me will never go away. and never goes away. Because right now you're giving me all these amazing, fantastic attributes. But to me, like, I'm not registering what you're saying at all. I really am not. Because I just feel like, well, what have I really done? Like, what have I really accomplished? It's just a blog. And it's that voice in your head that never goes away. And even now, for some reason, more so than ever, I got verified on Instagram, and I was super excited for that.
Having to buy.
Pre-subscription. And I've been on a few podcasts. I've been in a few magazines. And yet still, it does not feel real.
Yeah.
And it does not feel enough. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but
I think it's definitely both.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely both, and I think you should be proud of it. And like, it's so interesting to me because like you've really done it. You really have. And again, it's from the ground up. And I want you to share this story if you're comfortable, but I know you started this, right, with your father and just sharing pictures, and you were in a position where you really were just doing it for fun, and you just happened to see that it could turn into something, right? So I'm curious from your perspective, like, how did that really start? And like, how did you start to realize, wait, there are people that are following me. I could grow my audience. Like, how did you realize that? And how did you actually go ahead and increase your reach and getting more followers?
I think the biggest push I had for this blog was something dark and something not so filled with happiness. But when I started this on July 19th, 2017. I'll never forget this, at like 9 or 10 p.m. And I created the name, and I had like a list of 20 names on my notes app. And I don't know why I picked this one, but it seemed the most appropriate and most authentic to me. Mm-hmm. And I created the Instagram, name, everything. And maybe the next day I called my boyfriend at the time, who was a photographer, and we decided to start doing this together because he had all the photography background, all like the editing skills, the artistic side. I had nothing, truly nothing. I just started like a communications class. I didn't even have the business background. I didn't have the photography background. I had no background, but I had a background for the love of food and a love of cheese balls and a love of sushi.
And that's all you needed.
And that's all I needed. I had a love of connecting with people. Because if you notice some of my captions, they're very, very girly girl captions. They've got pop culture in them, pop culture references, that's who I am.
They're very niche and
exactly.
If you know, and it just it's very intriguing.
That's what I could bring to the table. So we started this together. Unfortunately, we went through some dark periods of times within the year. And after a huge, huge heartbreak, multiple times. I don't know how in it you want to go.
Whatever you're comfortable with. Don't worry.
After being hurt a few times by him, I finally said enough is enough, and I cannot do this anymore. I'm not healthy. My life isn't healthy. I'm done.
Good for you for recognizing that.
Yes, because he really could have pulled me to something much, much darker and much deeper, and with a lot of hurt. So I turned to him and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like you step out of our relationship way too much for anyone's comfort, especially for mine. Yeah. And it shouldn't be like this. I'm disrespecting myself. Mm-hmm. And I told him, we're done. Final moment, we're done.
Snaps and claps for you.
These words. Yeah. Honestly, it's funny because I don't even remember the breakup so well. I remember these words that I will never forget in my life. Is him saying, okay, but just so you know, Mile High Bites will not go anywhere without me, because I have these skills. I have these photography skills. I know what I'm doing.
Look at you now.
And I look at him and I say, maybe you're right, because I don't have these skills. Maybe it won't go anywhere, but it's my thing. It's me. I can't give it up. I want to see where I can take this. And so after our final time apart, after we broke up officially, about 2-3 weeks later, I hit my first 1,000 followers.
Wow.
of
Wow, David.
not knowing anything, quote unquote, of not having any skill, quote unquote.
You see?
And I got my first 1,000 followers. That kind of was the light in this breakup. And I think that's why I wasn't traumatized so much by it, because I had something so amazing come out of it. That I'm kind of incredibly grateful for my first followers, because they're girly girls like I am, like you are. And we DM about pop culture, about Bravo, about Kardashians, about Skims, about like anything, you know? And it feels like a family. It feels like a family, and it feels like a community. All in all, about also being about food and eating, because what's better than eating out?
It's
whether it's takeout, whether it's a nice dinner, what's better than eating out?
David, you're incredible. One, I'm so proud of you for being mature and doing what's best for you in a time. Trust me, I've been in similar situations, I'm sure, where you are very confused and torn, and it's so amazing what you did, and that you advocated for yourself, and you got yourself out of a dark place and into an amazing place. And they always say, after a storm, there's a rainbow. And I know that's so corny, and people say that to me all the time, and I'm like, that's like, ugh, like, don't say that to me, but it's true. And look at that. Like, through such a heartache, you got such a huge piece of your life now that is incredible and has given you so many opportunities, opened so many doors for you.
Opportunities, friends, business deals.
Yeah.
Great meals.
Great bites.
Great bites. Exactly.
It's so incredible. So talk to us a little bit about how you grew your following, what that looked like then, and what that looks like now for you.
It's hard. Growing a following is back then, now, and I'm sure in the future, growing a following is so incredibly hard, because nowadays you grow a following by having a video pop off, or a reel pop off, or a TikTok pop off. And most of them don't. I'd say like 97% of them don't. And it's when the ones that do, like the ones that get that like 20K views, 30K, 100K views, just feel like all of this is worth it, because you get to reach more people that you can connect with. And honestly, I think back then, the biggest thing was word of mouth. And that still happens today, when just friends will talk to friends about the blog. Or I'll give a great example. My boyfriend's right now probably the biggest supporter of mine, because no matter where we go, this is the businessman in him, by the way, the businessman Bo in him. No matter where we go, he'll throw it in wherever we are.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how it connects to the topic that we're talking about. He's like, oh, by the way, did you know my boyfriend runs a food blog, like this amazing food blog, and he posts these promotions and these pictures of food and videos of food, and they're so good. And we get to go to this restaurant and that restaurant. And I was like, okay, Jacob, we get it. Like, your boyfriend runs a food blog. He is proud of me, and it's amazing. I mean, he's the love of my life, and I definitely am very grateful for that aspect. So like I said, word of mouth is so important.
Yeah.
Get your friends, get your family members to just talk about it.
Yeah.
Second, I would say posting a lot. Continuous, consistence in posting. Post every day if you can. I don't, which is, it's hard, but you need to do that.
It really is a full-time job if you really
It is a full-time job. And so that's, I've got my 9 to 5, and then I've got my 5 to 9, which sometimes my 5 to 9 feels more like my 9 to 5, you know?
I feel you.
And yeah, so that's definitely how I would say I got a following, and my little advice is talk about it, post about it, and keep doing consistently.
I love that. And what's so incredible is you do it because you love it and you enjoy it, and that connection and that community and the sharing and all that. But you've also really made it a business. And that's what everyone strives for.
Recently.
That's what everyone, like they see the shiny object and all that. Like, oh, maybe I'll be like that too. And it's amazing. And I think if that's something you want, you put in the hard work, it could absolutely happen. I think it's silly to not try. I mean, again, the barrier to entry is minimal. So like, if that's something you're interested in, you go for it. How did you know, or like, what was that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I think I could monetize this? What did that look like?
So that moment honestly did not even come from me. It came from a PR company that reached out, and I don't remember which PR company it was, but one of the PR companies that I work with, they reached out with a promotional paid partnership. And I was like, what's a paid partnership? Because I'm pretty much only going out to eat. I'm eating on my own dime. And I'm also eating on if a restaurant like invites me out and does like a little collaboration promotional meal where they comp the meal. And that's
so like they would reach out to you.
They would reach out to me.
Come on over for an Instagram post or something and we'll give you a meal.
Exactly. We have a new menu. We have a new item. We want you to feature this. Can you come?
Yep.
Other times it's literally just me and my boyfriend on date night or finding something new and like a hidden gem that I've researched. Then we go and we eat it and I post about it. And when this PR company reached out about this paid partnership, they asked, well, what's your rate sheet? Send us your rate sheet and send us your media kit. And so I go back into like my communications class that I, the degree I graduated with. And I was like, okay, media kit, rate sheet, let's research this. So I started researching it and I started asking some of my friends who are in the PR world, what do I even charge? Like, what does this even mean? They ran some of my analytics, some of my engagement rates and gave me kind of a range of what I should be charging. And I went on Canva. By the way, shout out to Canva. Should sponsor this podcast because this podcast is amazing. And we would love a Canva partnership.
And I literally use every aspect of Canva.
So I went straight to Canva and I made a rate sheet and a media kit that I sent to this PR company. They approved, the company approved the deal, and that was my first paid partnership.
Wow. That's wild.
And the feeling was exhilarating.
I'm sure.
Because I was, not only do I get, they sent me a product that I got to test and review. Not only is it something that I was able to receive, to try, but that I was also allowed to be honest with. Mm-hmm.
And that's important.
That's what I loved because that was a huge fear of mine. I was thinking, what if I don't like it?
Yeah, then what?
Do I still post it? Like that was a huge fear of mine. And I love having the ability of saying, no, if I don't like it, I'll tell them that I don't like it.
Yeah.
Do you have other products that you want me to sample? Or maybe this is just my taste. Maybe I have bad taste. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of this. And I loved that ability and that liberty to do that. So it was an exhilarating time getting that first paid partnership.
Wow.
For sure.
So just to also clarify, in your particular field, and at least in the business that you've created, you have the opportunities where you go to a restaurant, they give you a comped meal, or companies and PR agencies reach out to you to review or do something with an actual product or a company, not necessarily in a restaurant setting.
Yes. Okay. So I do both. I do like food and beverage side, which I think that was my initial start. Then recently, about a year ago, I've been trying to get more into the lifestyle world and the lifestyle brands. So I've been doing some partnerships with gym classes and work because I'm a Peloton addict. And that's would be a dream partnership of mine, which probably will never happen. Yes,
Peloton. We manifest things. It will happen.
That's true. So we've got Canva. We've got Peloton on our dream list. What else? Skims.
Please. Oh my gosh. Yes.
So yeah, that was definitely the aspect of food and beverage. Started out first. And now it's incorporating lifestyle, promotions, activities. And it comes from someone will shoot me an email of a product or a class or a service. and say, hey, like, I want to promote this on your page. Like, you've got this amazing following. How would your followers feel about this? Would they even like this? And I have to sit down. I really have to analyze will my followers even like this product or like this service or like this restaurant? Like, is that their demographic? And that's where I love the analytics side of Instagram, that you can go through all your analytics and see where your followers are from, their age, their gender, their location, everything. Exactly. So I love that aspect so much because it gets to know, you get to know who they are. And when I DM with my followers, that's the best part, because then I really understand who they are as people, not just numbers.
Yeah.
Not just analytics. Like, I understand them as people. And I will tell a brand, listen, this is not a fit. Like, my followers aren't going to go for this. I would love to still promote it, but I have to be honest with you, this might not get a lot of engagement.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Interesting. So when was that switch for you? Where like, you know what? I kind of want to get into the lifestyle aspect. Because again, your name, Mile High Bites, right? When you look at it, it's like, oh, something with food, but you've done such an amazing job incorporating that lifestyle aspect into it.
Yeah.
So when did you want to do that switch, and how did that really come about?
So speaking of the name, it's an interesting topic because I've personally struggled a lot of, do I keep the name, dare I say, because I know some of my friends will freak out when I say this, but could there be a rebrand possible in the future because I am doing more lifestyle? What if I move out of Denver for a couple of years? Like, what if, my boyfriend and I decide to try out a new place, a new location?
To New York City. I don't know. I think today turned you off.
After a little conversation about like apartment hunting.
I think that turned you off.
I'm okay. So I don't know. Now, the name is definitely something that doesn't fit the lifestyle aspect. Because what am I biting?
You're taking a bite out of life.
Taking a bite out of life. And that's marketing for you.
You see?
So that's,
That's what my MBA got me. Literally that.
Take a bite out of life. So it's not easy with, struggling. Do I keep the name? Do I change the name? Because I am doing more so of this lifestyle. The lifestyle turnaround, I think, happened last year when a workout class reached out to me.
Oh, so
and a cycling class, because I post on my stories. So on my stories, I do a lot of lifestyle stuff. Like, you'll see me get facials and go out to go out with my friends, go out to a lounge with my boyfriend and have like dinners, cocktails, whatever. I post my family sometimes with my sister whenever we're doing something. Vacations. I've been posting a lot of vacation content and people are loving it. So that's when I started seeing the analytics from my stories of how people react to my lifestyle posts, just me posting my life, posting my face for the first time. We didn't even touch on that.
Yeah,
I used to not post my face at all.
Interesting.
And then when I started seeing
strictly food.
But when I started seeing that engagement and those analytics of people really liking that I post my face, my family, my relationship.
They're able to put a face to the name, right? There's someone behind that phone.
I've received nothing but compliments and nothing but amazing happiness and joy of when I post my relationship or I post like a family dinner, something like that. And I love that aspect. And it's been amazing to connect with them even more because I feel like my followers have given me so much that it's nice to give a little back, and just show a little more and connect a little more, especially when I post, Jewish holidays or Shabbat.
I love that. The amount of so good.
Jewish followers that I have, I never knew I had.
Wow.
And it's an amazing feeling.
That's incredible.
Yeah. So I'm happy with this turnaround, this change, quote unquote, but I don't know what I'm going to do with the name. So we'll see. I love it. Yeah.
I love it, but I trust you. But I think that's amazing. And just also to give some people some clarity, what are some of the great partnerships that you've done today? You've done some really, really awesome ones. Why don't you name drop a little bit?
Oh my
goodness. Give it to us.
Okay, we're put up right on the spot.
Give it to us. And check out Mile High Bites. You can see it for yourself on there.
Yes, that's true. So first go check out Mile High Bites and then come back to this episode. No. What have been some amazing deals? Well, Raising Cane's had an amazing PR box that they sent me. Unreal. It was huge. This PR box was huge. So I open it up And what's in there? Raising Cane's chicken tender pool float.
Oh my God, that's
a massive pool float that I gave to my sister because when we were living we just moved to Denver recently from Boulder, and we didn't really have a nice pool. Now we do, but so I gave my sister the pool float that they can use in their neighborhood, and she is obsessed with it. But Erica, I will be stealing that back very soon because now we have a very nice pool. Now we have a very nice pool, and it's a huge chicken tender pool float. It's so awesome. Gift cards, T-shirts. There's so much in this PR box, and they invited me to the restaurant for me to go into the back of the kitchen and kind of see like the process of everything and film the process. That was super cool.
I love
That's
that.
a great partnership that I had.
Interesting.
What else? Oh my God.
I can tell you one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Anda, Shay Mitchell, baby.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Shay Mitchell, if you're listening, I know you're listening.
You.
We love you.
We love you.
And I'm so sorry for missing the Anda partnership. The Anda partnership was fantastic.
I reached out to you right away. I was like, hello?
Yes.
Shay?
So it was Anda. Anda just started becoming they just started supplying to Costco, and the Anda management team reached out to me and asked, do you want to partner up with us? And I said, yes. Yes.
Not even a question.
Not even a question. It was funny. Me and one of my girlfriends, Bailey, Chef Squire Eats, by the way, we both did the partnership together. Separate posts, but we kind of were like in the emailing process together, and we had so much fun doing it. It was it's an amazing brand. And let me give you a little tea.
Give me it, David.
It's actually very good, as opposed to some other brands, influencer brands that I've tried.
We can leave those off for now.
Yes, we can leave those off for now. Yeah. But some other influencer brands I've tried that were just not it. They were not it. Yeah. But Anda was fantastic. There's actually two that I really loved. Anda and Spritz.
Yeah.
Spritz Society.
Very good.
Amazing.
Very good.
Anda, amazing. My favorites. Our fridge is stocked with those because whenever we have guests over, they love it. We love it.
Yeah.
It's great. So that was a sick partnership. I had a great time filming it because you saw on location we did with the Boulder background.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
The picnic, the mountains.
Yeah.
And also there's a whole lot of creativity that you also have to, you have to plan. There's a lot of work. It's not just getting stuff in the mail and taking a picture of it and calling it a day. There's a lot.
No, because no one would watch that.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes behind the scenes. Even us going out to dinner and if it's at a restaurant, or even when I just know from you when you actually get PR boxes or anything like that, there's work that you have to do. It's not an easy thing just to sit back and...
Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever... Because we've gone out a few times.
Of course.
And I always like to pull out the camera because, it doesn't have to be some kind of paid promotion. This is what I love to do. This is... My whole heart is in my blog. I love to post.
Because you
love to share.
Monetizing it and making it a business is a second thing that you're doing.
Exactly.
I totally get that. And I respect that.
Exactly. But do you ever get embarrassed when I do pull out my flashlight or my friend's flashlights and just start going in it and you sit there and wait patiently for the food?
No, never. And I'll shout out my cousin who also is a food blogger, Choose and Views NYC. It's amazing. I also go a lot out with her. And I think it's incredible. And I look at it as these are people that are doing God's work, in my opinion. Food is the center of everything.
Food is the center of everything.
And I'll be honest, and maybe I just have also a different affinity to this industry, but I've seen my husband be in the restaurant industry and for a long period of time, and I know in the future has been and will be an owner of food establishments, and I know how hard and brutal they can be, and I know how critical it is to have the right marketing and to have the right community for it and the engagement. So I actually look at it as such an amazing thing that there's people who dedicate their time to help out these businesses.
Well,
I think it's incredible.
Local mom and pop shops is why I started doing this.
Yep.
My dad's restaurant is a local mom and pop shop. Brian's dad's restaurant is a local mom and pop. These are the places that need the coverage. Right. I love my big brand partnerships. I love my paid partnerships, but there's nothing better than going on in Colorado, going on Federal Boulevard or Havana Street and just seeing these local, small hidden gems that just have the best food. The whole street smells like the food, and you just get to film them and promote them and show them to all your followers, all your friends. Like, that's the best part.
Yeah.
So that's why that's important, because
I'll never be
because they don't have the
embarrassed by
millions
that.
of dollars, the thousands of dollars to spend on a billboard. They
Right.
don't have that, and why should they? That's what makes them so special.
Yes.
Is their hard work, their ethic, their amazing food, and just how small they are and homey they are, and that you feel like you're at home at these local mom and pop shops.
Totally.
So
Totally. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And to answer your question, again, I don't think I will never be embarrassed by you or anyone, but it's incredible what you guys do. My husband, if he's hungry, he'll be like, or my brother will be like, I need to eat. You're taking too long. But as a joke, I think it's incredible. And again, I really just think what all food bloggers or any blogger does, the fact that you have the want to set aside time to share any story, whether that's lifestyle, whether that's food, whether that's your own health or anything that anyone shares on social media, I think it's so empowering to see people do that. And I just think that's incredible in whatever form that comes in.
Yeah.
I'm curious,
speaking
about partnerships before, what is your dream partnership?
Like I mentioned, Peloton.
Yeah. Which will happen.
Which will happen. Because I post my rides every morning.
It's realistic.
But I don't even know what that would look like, because what is a Peloton collaboration partnership? I don't know. But that's for them.
You will create
exactly.
that,
That's for them to reach out and for me to figure out and
how
brainstorm.
powerful is that? Yeah.
That would be a dream one. Some hotel stays would be like so cool, just to travel to other cities.
You've done a few of those too, right?
I've done a few local ones in Denver.
Nice.
Yes, I've done promotions with Hilton, Marriott, and they were in the Denver metro area. But it'd be so sick to venture out somewhere new, somewhere exciting, see a
back
new
to Israel.
place. Israel, if you're listening. The emails are open. Please
Let's go.
Send them through.
Ryan and I will meet you there.
We don't even.
At
we
the
don't even
Jerusalem Shuk.
You know what?
After Shabbat.
Yes, but it doesn't even need to be a paid partnership. You don't need a comp it. Give us like a nice discount, 20%
Let's
discount.
go.
We'll be there.
100%.
Any excuse to travel to Israel, we will be there.
We will be there. Yeah.
So I think, some travel partnerships would be so sick to get, and Peloton.
And maybe Skims. We could throw Skims.
Skims. Yeah. Skims would be a great one. Great company. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that. Another question I have for you, because I'm sure a lot of people are thinking of this, especially if they are someone in or want to be in the social media space. How do you differentiate yourself? Because I have a very strong opinion. I think there's room for everyone. I think everyone has unique recommendations, unique stories, unique taste in food, whatever part of social media you're in. But it is still saturated, right? It is still saturated. It is very competitive. That's where a lot of people's imposter syndromes come in, myself included. How do you differentiate yourself with your brand and all that Mile High Bites is?
I mean, listen, I think the only reason why it works and why you shouldn't be afraid of oversaturation, because it is oversaturated, but do not be afraid because of your unique qualities that you probably don't even know you have, of just being you. Like I said before, my page is a food blog. That's what it started. That's what I advertise it as. It's a food blog. Yet my captions are pop culture references.
Yes.
I do Housewives rewatches, Housewives watches on my stories, where I put a question box and I connect with my followers. Nobody. I haven't seen people who do that. Some of my friends and I do that together. But in the major aspect, I have not seen this be oversaturated. And just like that could be the same thing with anything. You love to blog about something and you love a hobby, just connect them together. Gaming, like let's say you're a foodie who loves to game.
Marry the
I'm
two.
I'm sure there's a way for you to do that. And I guarantee you, 1000% guarantee you, that there are other people just like that who are interested in this craft of yours, in this idea of yours. All you have to do is just believe in yourself and just do it, I know it sounds super corny,
but it's true.
These corny expressions came from somewhere. So they worked for somebody.
Yeah.
So why not you?
I love that. David. And what advice, on a similar notion, what advice do you have for people that are currently building their own brand, building their own communities on social media, or someone who's at home who's been thinking about it for a while and wants to go ahead and go do it? What is some of the advice you have for anyone starting or currently in the space?
I think stick with it. Mm-hmm. Stick with it because it can get rough. It can get discouraging, but stick with it because you know why you started this. You know why you believe in this product. You know why you like what you're doing. So continue doing it because others will come and others will follow and others will engage. You just haven't tapped your follower market yet. And that's okay. You haven't tapped your fans and that's okay. But they're gonna come and they're gonna show up. And that's why I'm so incredibly grateful for every single follower that I have. Every single time I get a DM from them about, let's say it's a request for a restaurant or a request for an activity to do in Denver. Oh, I wanted to touch on this too.
Yeah, let's go.
One of the recent DMs I got, I think a few months ago, maybe like 6 months ago, was from this one girl who was planning, she was the maid of honor of her best friend, and she was planning her bachelorette party. Mm-hmm. And they were doing a bachelorette party in Denver. Probably the smartest idea she had was to find a local influencer, connect with them, and have that local influencer plan lunches, dinners, brunches, everything.
I love that.
And so she did that. Local influencer being me. She reached out and she's like, "This is my budget. I'm happy to pay you for this service. Can you plan out every single one of our meals and make reservations for us and double up on reservations?
Like
if we cancel, we cancel." Exactly. And
that's
listen, she's not from Denver.
Revenue stream.
Why would she know? Why would she know that stuff?
Yeah.
Right? She DM'd a local, got to know the area, and I gave a weekend worth of choices and activities, and they didn't even have to have a headache about being stressed where they're going. So that's another thing.
That's brilliant. You could build a whole other thing with that. Exactly.
And who knew that was going to happen?
Yeah.
So you just stick with it, and it can take you to so many different roads and pathways. Yeah. And that's the beauty of our world, of our connections with people, of our relationships, is that they can take you in so many different directions that you could never even imagine.
Yeah. Incredible. Wow. And before we close out around Mile High Bites, I have to ask, where's Mile High Bites going? What's in store? What does the future look like? Give it to us. What can we look forward to?
You can look forward to more of me. And you can look forward to more of showing my life, of my everyday life, and the changes that I might be going through, the hardships. I want to post more, and hopefully I'll be able to do that soon. And just connect more with my followers. Like I said, connect more with, now I can't even call them followers, connect more with my friends.
Yeah. And
discuss everything from food to pop culture to books to anything. I kind of want to make it more, I want to talk more with my followers and connect more with them rather than just posting constantly.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to know people more closely. So
I love that, David. Seriously, what you've done, what you've built, what you're continuing to build is really incredible. And it's, again, I think it's just so timely when you came on because, like I said, and I reiterate it so much, it's crazy how much everyone always has a voice, but especially now it's so easy to share your voice with others. And the way that you do it, I just think is so chic, so amazing. And I really commend you. And I know there's so many people out there that want to do something similar or are currently trying to do it. And you just have so much wisdom. So
thank you. Still learning though. That's the thing is you're always going to be learning. You always should learn. You should never think you're too big to learn something new to, see your ways that they could be not, or they could be wrong, or you might be doing this, not be going this about the not. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm like so nervous.
No, you're doing amazing. This is literally We chat all the time.
We do, but I don't know, just you're such a professional that you're in this professional setting and it's nerve-wracking.
When you come back on, we'll do it on my couch.
Perfect. So I don't even know what we were talking about.
Where Mile High Bites is going.
Yeah. You're going to be seeing more of me and more of my personal life, as much as my friends and my boyfriend and my family are comfortable with it. You're going to be seeing more of me.
I love it. Okay, well, on that note, I know a big part of you is reality TV.
Okay, let's get into this.
I'm going to be honest. So we have a few minutes. So the I'm Factor podcast is really about like living your best life and all of that. And we will wrap up with that. However, we've rarely touched upon reality TV, pop culture, gossip. I typically try to stay away from that in general, even in my personal life.
Totally same.
I love you. I love you. But it would so not be acceptable if I had you on the podcast and did not do a little segment about Rob.
And we can cut some of that stuff, other stuff out.
Yeah. It would literally be a sin if I didn't do that. So I want to get some of your takes on some of the hot takes currently going on in Bravo.
Hot takes.
Okay. So not that these are rapid fire, but
we'll do them. Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
Somewhat rapid.
Okay. Talk to me. What's your thoughts about Scandival?
Scandival. The greatest thing to have happened to Ariana.
Agreed.
The greatest thing. Because if it wasn't so public, she would not have been doing so well with it, making a business out of it, going through it with the nation, the world.
Isn't that insane?
If I had
Vanderpump Rules made it to like every major media outlet.
On New York Times front page, CNN front page.
And I have to shout us out. You and I have been watching Vanderpump from the OG days. And I know, at least for me, I've been telling everyone to get on that train, and no one got on it until all this happened. But, like, we're OG Vanderpump.
Yeah, I'm a fake OG Vanderpump because there was, like, my COVID projects, but before Scandival, for sure, yes.
You were in it.
Yes.
You were in it.
So, greatest thing to have happened to her. I'm sorry that this happened to you. I personally know how this feels, and it's disgusting, and it's wrong. But she should be grateful that this happened on such a huge platform.
Yeah.
Because, wow, she made it big.
Do you ever wonder, because I wondered this a lot, if, according to, like, Raquel, Rachel, and Sandoval, that they were planning on doing this like right after the reunion or like right when the season was over.
Right.
Do you ever wonder, like, if that actually did happen, the effect wouldn't be what it is now?
No, they'd look much better.
Yeah, I agree.
So it sucked for them.
Yeah.
It sucked for Sandoval.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very interesting. And I know you were just in LA and had some good times.
I had some good times. I had a great run-in with Mr. Tom Schwartz.
I love it.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Next up, what do you think of the new reboot of Real Housewives of New York? I'm really curious what your thoughts are.
Okay. This one's rough for me because New York is such an iconic, like Roni is such an iconic show. And listen, I think we need to give them a chance because we're just getting to know these people. Yeah. I'm sure when season 1 of Roni premiered, everyone was like, what is this even about? Who are these people?
It was also a very different time, too.
It was different times.
Yeah.
I think we need to give them a chance. And right now, it's fine. I'm a few episodes behind, which I think that says a lot that I'm a few episodes behind.
Yeah.
But I'm not writing them off. I'm not writing them off. I'm giving them a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I have to say, I do think they did a pretty good job casting. I know people are on both sides of the fence on this.
Yeah.
I think they did a pretty good job in the sense of it is a good representation of today's society. You have your influencer, you have your boss ass woman who ran J. Crew and is doing all these cool things. You have an amazing interior designer and real estate agent. You have working moms, you have those that aren't, like, you have every aspect you have, and I think they did a really great job casting in that sense.
Especially that they're all incredibly local, because I'm not trying to shade anybody, but the only person I knew was Jenna Lyons. Yeah. That's the only person I knew. Yet you, who you're a New Yorker, a true local.
I've heard.
You've heard of these people. You know these people. You know them as influencers. That's what's awesome.
Yeah.
Is that the world didn't know, and now they do. But
Yeah.
you always kind of had know about a connection.
Yeah, and I love the
some of these
diversity,
women.
so I have to give it to them.
Yes.
And I mean, I will watch it, but I do think it says a lot that we are behind. Like we're not as like roped in just yet.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Next up, you and I actually watched these last night. Two
Yes, we did.
big trailers dropped.
Huge.
We have our Diamond Girls, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and Miami. Both trailers dropped. Give me your thoughts. I need to know.
All right, let's do Real Hope first.
Let's go.
Fantastic trailer. Fantastic. Gorgeous. Gorgeous outfits.
Sickening.
Gorgeous bodies. Thank you, Ozempic.
But actually.
Gorgeous. Lots of drama. Kyle Mauricio. I love Kyle. I've always loved her. Mo.
Yeah.
Mo's Mo. He's a nice Jewish boy.
He's that NJB.
He's that NJB. Hopefully remains that NJB.
Yeah.
But, I think the hot take of mine is that Rehob is a little overproduced by the housewives.
Interesting.
But I'm not against it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I want to see Dorit
so
faking
good.
a storyline because I love her outfits. I want to see this, maybe, in my opinion, fake drama, fake aspects of the drama of Kyle Mauricio because I love Kyle Mauricio. I don't care about the fake storyline. I've had fake storylines with Kardashians for so many years.
We got it from everyone.
Exactly. I just love seeing the fashion. I love seeing these houses. I love their jokes. I love them going out. I love it. So give me more fake storylines.
I love that. And I just have to say, Kyle and Mauricio, I've been obsessed with them literally from their first days. I'm obsessed with their family. My husband knows, I idolize.
Yeah.
Idolize how they raise their, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, again, from my perspective, I don't know them personally, but from what you see on TV, that's always,
Yeah.
I just hope that they're okay.
I hope that they're okay. Maybe it's me
whatever.
just internalizing it myself and being like, this has to be fake because I don't want it to be real.
I just hope everyone's okay. And the trailer was sickening. And they looked that
last
their cover photo.
Oh my God.
I'll post our immediate facial reactions when we were watching it last night. We both were jaw dropped. They looked insane.
Yeah.
They looked insane. But gorgeous. Gorgeous. Real Houses of Miami. Give it to me. What do you think of the trailers?
Fantastic
There was
trailer.
2 parts.
There were 2 parts?
Yeah. But I think the one we watched, they had them both together.
Oh, okay.
But I saw on Instagram they were
Oh,
separate.
I see. Okay. I was like, I thought we only watched one. No.
Yeah.
Fantastic trailer. Loved it. What can I say? Lisa, I'm sorry. It's tough. It's tough. I am 100%. I mean, I could take my words back, but right now I am 100% on her side. And Lenny is we get it. We got it. Oh my God. This was such an embarrassing moment for me because I have not been keeping up with the Bravo blogs. So I did not know that Gertie has breast cancer.
And so does Julia's
that I knew.
Martina.
Yes. Martina I did know because I've heard about it, but I did not know that Gertie had. And oh my God, I feel so awful. I feel so bad. Best prayers, best wishes to her, to Martina, and to their loved ones because that cannot be easy. And to show that on
the whole journey looks like it's going to be on this season.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I will say the trailer was very dramatic. It was a little too dramatic.
The church, the praying. It was a little, are we Salt Lake City? Why are we doing this?
It was a little much. But I don't know if you felt this, but I was overwhelmed by how much is going on. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is really the Kyle and Mauricio of it all.
Yes.
In Miami, you have Larsa Pippen is dating Marcus Jordan. You have Lisa going through hell. It's absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Then you have Gertie going through her health struggles.
Yes.
You have Julia going through
Martina's
health struggles. And it looks like they're having some so much.
It's too much.
It's a lot.
It's a full-time job for us.
We have a 9 to 5, we have a 5 to 9, and we have a 9 to 11.
And then we have a 9 to 11. Exactly. I love that.
Both seasons look incredible. Yeah. You and I are going to be very busy. But
we're ready to dive deep. We're ready. We are ready. Bravo. Send them out. Premiere them. We're here.
I love it. Okay. Before we have our wrap up.
Okay.
And I get to know your I'm factor even more,
Okay.
I want to play a really fun game.
A game. Okay, I'm down. Okay. I love playing games. Not the drama kind.
Yeah. We're playing Shag, Marry, Kill Food Trends Edition. Okay? Are you ready for this?
I am so ready for this because I've got some hot takes coming for you.
Okay. So we're going to start off with this first one, which I have to say I think is freaking incredible. Okay. Shag, Marry, Kill. The butterboard trend.
Okay.
Whipped ricotta.
Okay.
And this one's a really good one. Might be really easy. Caviar. Which is a trend to maybe those that are not European. I don't know.
Okay.
But like in a Russian household, that is a...
No. Caviar is, without a question, marry.
Love.
I want it for the rest of my life. I want to find true love with caviar.
I love it. Makes sense.
So that's out of the question.
Okay, marry. Who are you shagging? Who are you killing?
I hate... Okay. I'm shagging the whipped ricotta.
Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm killing the butterboard. I'm sorry.
I agree.
What, are you... Like, are you out of your mind? Like, just to have, like, a wooden board with butter that's, like, in the middle for hours on end, melting, mixing. No. That is, like, bacteria. That is microbiome that I don't even want to touch. We're killing the butterboard. We're shagging whipped ricotta.
And you're marrying caviar. I love it.
And we're marrying caviar.
Okay, ready for the next? Shag, marry, kill. Everything but the bagel seasoning. Okay. Truffled flavored everything. Truffles are a huge thing.
Okay.
And then I had to throw in a Eastern European staple, sumac.
Ooh, okay. That's a great one. Mm-hmm. You know what? I'm going to...
And thank you, Ryan, for the help for these. Go ahead.
Ryan, you worked on these with her? Okay. I think I'm going to...
It's a tough one.
I'm going to marry everything bagel seasoning.
Okay.
Because it's it's consistent. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But you can pair it with so many different options.
It is very versatile.
Like, I recently made everything bagel pigs in a blanket with, like, kosher sausage, obviously. Yeah. But, like, with a Hebrew National. And I made, like, puff pastries and put everything bagel seasoning on that. Yep. It's very versatile. We're going to marry it.
Okay.
We are going to shag sumac. Mm-hmm. It's exotic. It's yummy.
Yeah.
It's versatile, too.
Yeah.
I don't know why I made that sound like that, but I love me some sumac.
I love you. You're the best.
And then we're going to kill, what is it?
Truffle.
Truffle. Just, you know why? I have an out for this. Because of truffle oil. I'm sorry.
Okay, tell
truffle
me more.
oil is not truffles. If something is truffle flavored with truffles, with real truffles, oh my God, I'm salivating. Mm-hmm. Truffle oil, it's not truffle. It's oil that has like 1% of
like
truffle.
A little hint of it.
A little hint, and it tastes fake.
Okay, I can get that. Okay, love that. Ready for last and final? Here we go.
Let's do it.
Impossible meat, nut milks,
okay,
and matcha.
Okay. Oh, you're really going to get me canceled with this one because I'm going to kill matcha.
I agree.
Oh, yay. I was like, I'm going to be canceled. Okay. We're going to kill matcha. Agree. It's everywhere. It's not even good.
I agree. If it was, again, if you love matcha, kudos to you. Amazing.
Good for you. You're one.
There's all those benefits.
Yeah, you're one of a kind. Amazing benefits. That's what I love. But you know what? I'll get that from green tea.
Yep.
Kill matcha. We are going to... What was it? So it was oat milk or
nut
non-dairy?
Milks and then impossible meat.
Can I kill two things? We're going to marry oat milk. Non-dairy milk. Nut milks.
Your preferred is oat.
My preferred is oat.
Yep.
Oatly. Love it. We're going to...
Sponsor?
Oh, yeah. Bring it over. Send it over. Send over a case. We're going to marry oat... oh, my God. We're going to marry nut milks. And we are going to shag impossible meat. Just because, listen, every once in a while, an impossible burger Not that bad.
And listen, it's a great substitute for those.
Yeah. Though I do prefer plant-based more than Impossible. Just because Impossible meat, I don't know, kind of scares me sometimes. It's like in the factory. So I do love like a plant-based burger more, like a mushroom burger or a spinach burger, you know, kind of like that. But whatever. We'll shag Impossible meat. We're going to kill, what was it?
Oh, we're killing matcha.
We're killing matcha and we're marrying nut milk.
Love it. Love it. What a fun little game.
What a fun game. What a great episode.
Love it.
Gabby, thank you so much for having me on.
Of course. And we're not even fully done yet. I have one more question for you. I
have one more question for
me. I do have one more question for you. You did touch upon it earlier, but we end every episode with the same question, and it's going to be like that for the next 2,000 seasons.
I love this.
What is your I'm factor? What is it about you? This is corny, what is your superpower? What is it that you know you have in you that you could constantly come back to that will help you get through any obstacles in your life, but will also help you really love and cherish all the amazing things in your life too? What has helped you get to where you are now and where you will go and continuously do to live your best life?
I would have to say my strive for more. And my strive for greatness. I am a better person when I am busy.
Yeah.
I am a better person when I'm on the go, go, go. Mm-hmm. I'm better in my relationship. I'm better with my family, with my friends, better with myself when I'm constantly hustling. Yeah. And I have that hustle culture. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a hobby. It could be a business deal. It does not matter.
Yeah.
Just my strive for more and my authenticity of what I put into that strive for greatness. I put in my childhood, my upbringing. I put in my love for my sister, my love for my parents, my love for my boyfriend, my love for my friends, my love for my community. When I show that love and when I show those people that I want to be more, I want to do more, I want to be better, that's when I feel good. And I think that's my I'm factors, striving for greatness.
I love that, David. And again, that is so clear and evident in what you built with Mile High Bites, what you do with your 9 to 5, everything. I see it. That is 100% your I'm factor. And I thank you for coming on.
Yes.
Please, you can find David at Mile High Bites.
Yep.
On Instagram.
TikTok, yeah, but we're still trying. I'm a little older, so we're still trying to figure out TikTok.
We're getting there. But absolutely check it out. It's such a great follow. And he has an amazing community. Feel free to DM him, reach out to him with any questions if you're in the Denver area.
Yeah,
or in general, or trying to start your own page or needing help with engagement.
I'd love to hear from you guys. You have an amazing following, so I would love to hear from them.
I love you, David. Seriously, thank you for coming on, and thank you for being a part of the I'm Factor and the Strass family. We literally love you.
We love you guys too. I have a question for you.
Oh my gosh.
Should we go continue this kicking over some dinner cocktails?
100%.
New York City, here I come.
That's where we're going. We're out. Amazing. Love you.
Love you too. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that episode. Whether you listened to it on your walk, in your car, during your morning routine, or at home, please take a second to subscribe and leave a rating and a review. Make sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at the I'm Factor Podcast to be a part of and engage in our awesome community. I would love to hear from you, so please leave a comment on this episode's Instagram post with what your favorite moment or takeaway was. Please feel free to DM me with topics and guests you would like to hear from and see on the podcast. Thanks for listening, and I will see you on the next episode.